Good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to Coffee and a Card. I'm Lorraine Sish from the Baltimore, Maryland area in the US, and I am happy to see you this morning. I just am getting my other camera ready and hoping some people will join on. Oh, there's my arm. Okay. So, welcome. I hope you guys had a great week. It's been busy around here with some Christmas prep. I've got my Christmas mugs out. I have a variety. I love seeing them, and I love seeing my friends hopping on here. Susan and Nadine, some of my regulars. Nice to see you here every week, guys. Thanks so much. And yeah, so cold here in Maryland, Susan. I hope you're warm down there. At least you'd be relatively warm compared to us, I know. And Nadine's further north than me, so hopefully everyone's staying warm or comfortable, whether you're in a warmer climate or a cold climate. And I just hope you're trying to spend some time to enjoy the holidays. Okay, I know it can be a very busy time, and but I love it. I kind of thrive on being busy. Just ask my husband, my friends, my family. Hello, Lydia and Tina. Nice to see you. 40, Susan, in Florida. Wow, that is cold. Yeah, Tina. Yeah, Tina's from Maryland here. So, yeah, but you're out west. You're a little colder, a little more elevation there. Um, Near Baltimore, so we're near the harbor. And as a lot of you know, water is sort of a moderator to the temperature. So it doesn't get too cold. It can get pretty humid. It can get pretty hot. But anyway, Hudson Valley is chilly. Yeah, I bet, Nadine. um, well, I was thinking today of doing some ideas for some little boxes or treat holders, just to make those small little gifts or stocking stuffers a little more special. Um, and what I like to do is I like to make little treats, little candies or something to kind of hand out and give out as I go about my business during the week to store owners or um, the bank teller or the grocery store checker outers, cashiers, the postal workers. I just love, handing out the little things. I think I showed you I did that on Halloween, and especially Halloween, people didn't expect anything. So it's kind of like when you do a little something and it gets a smile, that's fun. That's what it's all about. Yeah, okay, I'm going to let that go. Let me just hang up that phone because I don't need that ringing. All right, sorry about that. Got the spam calls and people trying to sell you stuff all the time, right? So if it's important, they'll leave a message. um, okay, using some of the Flock specialty paper. Oh, okay. Very good. Yeah, I'd forgotten all about that. I have some in my stash that's over there. That's beautiful for the holidays. Yeah, very, very nice. Um, so I hope you are staying busy. Tell me where you are with your Christmas cards, gang. I've gotten some from some of my friends. You know what was strange? I got, so we don't need all that right now. Okay, there we go. I got my first 3 handmade Christmas cards, and they were all a bookbinder card, if you know what I mean, where you have, this is not one of them, but it kind of reminds me of it in a way, where you have this side glued down and then this opens over here this way. My first 3 handmade cards were all the bookbinding. This one is sort of like a faux bookbinder look. This one opens this way. This was a card that I had done a few years ago. I like to go back and look at my old cards, see what I've done year to year. And I have cards that my friends have given to me also. It's hard for me to throw those out. So just know that when you send a card, I know so many people who send cards, handmade cards, say their recipients just love and have saved every single one. So just think how special that is. Okay, Shirley mailed the cards, received a few so far, right? I don't have as many cards coming in early this year, but sometimes they just kind of start flooding in later on. But I'm guilty. I've not sent mine out yet. About a third of them are 95% done. They will get done today. And then I have to work on another batch of the same design that I'm making for some people. And then I have another design I'm making for some other people. So yeah, I like doing that while I'm watching TV at night. I'm not a big TV person, so I like multitasking, at least just being in front of the tube with my husband, and whether it's flipping around channels or watching something silly or watching a, a, a more serious movie, although I have to watch that more closely. But anyway, Lydia's are done. It's going to mail them. Okay, very nice. All right, so think about, speaking of mailing cards, a lot of you, I had some feedback last week how people enjoyed seeing some of the birthday cards I had received. And it's kind of fun seeing other people's ideas, right? So I have a few more to show you that have come in. And at some point, I'll show you all the Christmas cards. All right, so I'm going to flip the camera. Let me take another sip of coffee. Got my tree here. And I'll show you a few more that I have gotten. I love them no matter if they're simple, if they're complicated, or anything in between. Just the thought that somebody took the time to make me a card and drop it in the mail. You know, we all appreciate that. So just remember that as you go about your card making. All right, so I'm going to flip my view here. Okay, this is coming later, so don't look at that. So here's one that, let me pull this aside. A cute design here using circle punches. I'm going to keep sipping my coffee if you don't mind. Haven't even had much today. Circle punches, a ribbon to go down this way as if it's wrapped up. The designer paper on top of layers of the cardstock, and it's kind of torn at the bottom here and has some embellishments there. So, and of course it's stamped very nicely in the middle. So that's from my friend Lynn. And then here's one that was made with the Daisies paper pumpkin kits. Okay, I loved that kit. And some of you even crafted along with me as we did the cards in the kit. And this is from my friend Lydia, who's on with us now. Thank you, Lydia. I love it. She's one of my daisies in the team. So that was very appropriate. And I just love that. See, love it, love it. And then this is an example of using our beautiful designer paper, just adding a strip like a band and a label and your sentiment, a couple embellishments. You have a very pretty card, right? So this is from another team member, Linda. And then this one is from another team member. Okay, this one is a stamp set that's retired now, but I love how it has a vintage look to it with the flowers stamped over the script writing, and it's she stamped lightly all around, and she added some shading over here, and she even distressed the edges a little bit to look more collagey and vintage-y. So I love that there, and the colors are just really, really neat together. I don't think I would have thought to do that, but I love it. And nice on the inside. Thank you, Wendy. And this one came the other day, and I was like, wow. This is from my friend Karen. Look at all the die cutting and the gluing, the sparkly bling. I don't know. I think there are like 30 rhinestones on here. Okay, I don't even want to think about counting all the little pieces and all the little bits, because it's just so involved and just so beautiful. I was very happy to get that the other day. And so very nice. And it's on the Blackberry Bliss. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so those are some more of those. And I'll be sharing some of the Christmas cards. I hang them up on very wide and long ribbons hanging from my railing on my stairs. And that way I can see them all. And I have designated one ribbon, or if I have to go over, I like to keep all my handmade cards together so they're all on one ribbon. And this is hanging down like maybe 5 feet, because it's like halfway up my stairs and then hanging down into my dining room. So I have one for my handmade cards, another one for my photo cards that people like to send of the growing kids and the families, and then I have a couple others for the more traditional store-bought cards that I just love seeing, and all of the notes people write in there. So hi, Debbie. Nice to see you. No, not too late. We're just chatting, and we're going to get started in a little bit. Again, I get overwhelmed with what I want to show you. I start saying, well, okay, I'll show this, and then, oh, but we could do this. You know me by now, right? A lot of you are regulars and watch regularly. And so just forgive me if we kind of end up going on and trying different things, because kind of that's what it's all about. Seeing the creativity happening live is kind of fun. So there are some things that are definitely planned, and then some things we kind of go a little rogue on, but fun. And I appreciate your suggestions and your thoughts, your inputs. So let's get started. More sips of coffee. And I'm going to put it over my warmer. So later on, when I'm done, I could sip warm coffee. I love my one of those little electric plates, like electric plate that you plug in that holds your coffee, keeps it warm, has a little silicone top that you can cover the coffee so heat doesn't escape. And then it's all good. I love it. My friend gave it to me. I highly recommend it. Because like I said, I've been one of those that when my coffee or tea gets cooled off too much, then I would be putting it in the microwave. Zap it for 30 seconds or a minute or whatever. And then go to drink it again and don't drink it fast enough, and then back to the microwave it goes. Or I do that and I forget about it. I walk away. And then 2 hours later, somebody finds a cup in the microwave. That's why that's why my daughter gave me a cup that said, "If found in microwave, return to grandma." Well, that was supposedly from my grandkid. But yeah, so that's me. If it's in there, it's mine. Okay, I am going to show you some gift holders. We do this very often. Treat holders, gift holders, little boxes. Like to do this around the holidays because get some little creative wrapping. And trust me, we do have a lot of designer paper that we can use, and we bought it to use it, right? And then especially around the holidays, my Christmas papers, I don't want to be holding on to all year. My other things, my flowers, my graphic designs, I could use throughout the year. But come Christmas, I'm not going to be using this throughout the year unless I'm making, say, like cards for troops or something that I'm putting aside and donating for later. But anyway, let's use it up. Okay, I actually have 2 packs of these, and this is, I have used very little of it. So I'm going to show you little things to do, and these are going to be some things I'm going to kind of give out around the community. It's Christmas tags and more, 6x6. It's Mix and Match Specialty Designer Series paper. And what's cool about it, you have multiple ideas here where you can cut this down into 6 different panels, use it as a card front, just mat it, add a sentiment, and you're done. Or you can fussy cut the images, of course. I've seen that plenty of times. And you have 6, I think, of each of these. Or is it 8? Oh my gosh. I even forgot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those. 8 of each design. And then these are great. Cut them different ways, to use on your cards. You have the wreath there. Oh, I should show you the backs. Okay, some classic plaid. These are garden green, crumb cake, real red, cherry cobbler. Okay, very sweet, and I love that little mistletoe. Ooh. And then your ornaments. And the back of that is a very soft green. I mean, you can't go wrong with your typical plaid, right? And then the back of that is a more subtle. And then here's where the ephemera comes in. You have 2 or 3 of these. Okay, 2 each of these punch out designs here. And these are going to be great for putting on your little tags that we make on these boxes, or just decorating the boxes with. Right, so a lot of things we can do with this. Of course, you can use any designer paper you like. It doesn't have to be Christmas to make these little treat boxes or whatever, little treat holders. You can put candies, little trinkets, little earrings or stickers for the kids, or money. Roll up some cash and stick it in there. That would be lots of fun, especially for those teenagers. And so I'm just like punching these out. Notice I'm doing 2 at a time. They're a little bit more secure that way, and it takes you half the time to do them, right? So then look how pretty all these little things are, just ready to go. I especially love them for the tags, like I said. But they could certainly be the cards. All right. There we go. Gifts, mistletoe, plaid, candy canes, birds, and trash. All right. Yeah, I think I could kind of just leave these to the side. Let me just grab a couple that I don't have. I have some candy cane. Let me get the flower. And let me get this ornament over here. I know we have an ornament there. I'll do a couple of the small ornaments as well. Now, as I go along, as I've been using my patterned tags dies, I've shown you that before. Oh, here's a nice little ribbon. Maybe I'll take that. And I have a stocking up there. That's good. Looks like a green stocking. All right, I got the idea, right? Now, put this aside so I don't lose it. I mean, it's a good idea to punch these out right away and keep them maybe in a smaller, like a clear envelope or a little bin, so that as you're manipulating the pack, they're not falling out and getting lost. So just kind of hold on to those. All right, so as I do the tag that has the pine on it, I know I've showed you that I like to save those pieces that got punched out. So not only do you have the tag and the that would be the overlay, but you have this part too. So I save those and I can tuck those onto my projects as well. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple of ways to kind of figure out what size to make your little box. We're going to be making some tall, skinny boxes, but then if we take some bigger paper, we can make bigger ones too. But I'm just going to kind of show you the concept, the idea of how to figure out what size. Now, I could tell you a certain size and it's going to fit certain things, but what if you need something bigger? So let's start with, okay, well, I don't know, let's do this one, because I might want to save these for decorating a little bit later. So let me choose 2 here. I'll do, that's on the back of that. Well, that's pretty too. All right, we'll do one for the front and one with the back design. Ooh, I need a bigger table. I'm running out of space here. So starting with the 6x6, I'm going to take my paper trimmer and I'm going to show you the concept. I can't help but be the teacher and just kind of show you the concept of how to go about making the size that you want, and then rather than just spitting out measurements and whatever. So it's kind of like teaching you how to fish. So we are going to make a little box that is 5 inches tall. I use the Lights of Aurora for this. Even though it's not Christmassy, it could look really cool. Put some sparkly glimmer paper on there and some stars, and it could be really pretty. So it's going to be 1 inch square all the way around. It's going to be 5 inches tall. And we're going to, we have to leave a little room for closing it, and I'll show you different varieties of ways to close it. So if we start with a 6x6, then what you want to do, if your box is 1 inch square, then you want to score this at 1 inches. That makes sense, right? Because you'll have 1 inch here. And then, yep, that is 1 inch, just checking. And then you need an extra little piece to overlap to like a tab so that you can glue it to the 4th side. All right, so that would be 4.5 inches. All right, so I could just do the math ahead of time and cut it at 4.5 inches, or what I did, well, I knew I'd have enough space here, but I'm going to score it at 1 inch. Now with designer paper, don't go too hard. I know I'm going back and forth, but I'm going very lightly. Okay, just because I'm doing it many times doesn't mean I'm doing a tough score, because designer paper will tear if you push too hard. Okay, 3 and the 4 inch. And I'm going to give it an extra 1/2 inch for my tab for closing. So I'm just going to cut it there. All right, so I didn't have to cut it ahead of time, just kind of starting with that. Now, my paper is 6 inches tall, right? But I need 1 inch for covering up the bottom. So that's where it's going to bring it down to 5 inches, right? So if it's 1 inch on each side, you need that inch for the bottom as well. So this is scrap. I could put this aside. And now I'm going to score my 6 inch piece at 5 inches. Okay, so now, of course, with the patterns on here, that is hard to see. But if I fold this, then you can get the idea, right? All right, so here's my 1/2 inch piece. And then here's the 1 inch side. And another 1 inch side. And 2 more 1 inch sides. And then this piece that we scored, the 1 inch, is going to be the bottom. So I'm going to really burnish those. All right, and then we need to cut some tabs. All right, I'm going to cut this very small rectangle off here. This is going to be on the inside anyway, but I'll do this so you can see. Okay, this is the piece I'm going to cut off, because these 4 squares are going to be my bottoms. They'll be overlapping for the bottom, and here's my tab that's going to connect to the other side. So like I said, depending on what you want to put in your little box, you can tweak this size by just doing these same concept things. So now we're going to cut these tabs, because once this is connected, we want these to fold in, right? So these lines are going to be cut right up to that 1 inch score line. And what I like to do is I'm going to leave one of these perfectly square because I'm thinking that when I put this together, I would like the one that's on the outside not to have a miter cut. I'd like it to be perfectly square, but the others I'm going to miter cut. So I'm also going to consider, if this is taped here, closed, I will want the opposite side to be my front because I'm not necessarily going to want people to see the edge, right? So if I turn around, then this is going to be the front. So I will want this part, oh, I'm sorry, I'm off the camera. I will want this part here to also be my front. I don't want this back part to come forward and then I see the edge here on my front. Does that make sense? Okay, so this one is my front panel. I'm going to put this one last. So I'm going to leave this one not miter cut, but these I will do a slight miter cut over here. Doesn't have to be much, just enough to take a little bulk off, and it will lay a little bit more flat once you overlap them all. All right. You make a lot of different cards, Susan. Yeah, I get bored too, but I do like remembering what card I sent out to people. And if they all get the same one, then that's easy. Okay, so now this flap here, we're also going to miter cut. There and there. Okay, excuse my mess here. That was from my Whip It Up Wednesday. I just didn't change my grid paper. Okay, we are going to put a piece of Tear and Tape down there. You want very strong adhesive for a box or things that are going to be manipulated. Okay, you can tear that or use your sticky scissors. Notice I don't use my good snips. I use, I tell my stampers that come with me, blue glue. Blue is for things with glue. All right, now we're going to peel this off. Oh, before I do so, I'm just going to show you. You can actually lay this flat and it will overlap that and you can press it down. All right, so you don't have to try to manipulate it while it's in the 3D form, okay, because that might be a little tricky. You just lay it down flat after you peel it, and that will adhere nicely. Okay, so fold it both ways, and then you have your little square box, right? Okay, then, remember this one is my front, so I want that one to go last. I'm going to, you can use little bits of Tear and Tape on this too. Or you can use liquid glue, but you just have to hold it a little bit longer. But okay, so this one's going to be last. I'm going to do these sides first. So I'll just stick a little piece on there. And fold that down on top of there like that. Sometimes you might need something in there to push it. Make sure it stays closed. All right, then I'll do the same thing over here. And again, this is my last one, so I see a full square. Otherwise, you'll see that miter cut over there. And when you do the miter cuts, it doesn't have to be perfect. So again, you don't want to see that imperfection. All right, so I'm putting that right there. Close that up, and then close that up. And now we have a nice, perfect looking square there. All right, so now these this size here, like I said, ends up being 5 inches because we start off with 6 and an inch is folded down underneath for the bottom. So this is good for little things such as, of course, some candies, maybe a lip balm fits in there nicely, or I got my goodies over here. You can put in some, I'm just giving you the perspective. You can put in some Hershey Kisses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 in there, and there's still room for maybe another one. Okay, so just a cute way, rather than just handing somebody a hand of Hershey Kisses, give them a little box, right? And the peppermint one smells so nice too. So you have that there, and also maybe if you have a small hand lotion. See, I thought this one might not even fit, but it kind of does. Even though it's wider at the top, it goes in diagonally, and that fits nicely. Now for the closures, in keeping with this kind of idea, we can just flatten. I'll put that in there for now. We can flatten this on a diagonal and either just staple it and then put a topper on, or if you like, you can fold it down if there's extra room in there. And you can certainly score it to get a nice fold, let's say at 1/2 inch. There we go. That way I'll get a nice crisp fold and it will be straight. Uh-oh. There's a whole bunch of things flying. All right, so now here's my seam in the back. All right here. So I'm going to fold it backwards so that I know I have the front there. All right, and look at that. I still went crooked. Oh, you know why? Because that was what I first did. There we go. All right, so if you were to staple this, you would want to have the ends of the straight part of the staple in the back so it looks a little nicer, unless you're going to cover it completely. So there are different ways to do this. I'm not going to do it totally because I have my lotion in there. So let me just take the lotion out and then I can show you different ways to do this. So if you're not going to have something covering the back, just make sure that you trim a little of this back so it doesn't show through when you fold it over. Okay, see what I mean? All right, so just trimming that a little bit will make it look neater in the back. So you can certainly just staple that, and then if you can take, because this is now 2 inches wide, right? Because each side was 1/2 and we flattened it. So I could take my 2-inch punch, and then let me take a piece of green here. Or if you want something bigger, that's fine too. Take my punch. I can score that in the middle. Well, actually, I could just staple it right on there if I wanted to, or glue it on, put my sentiment on there. Or what I'm thinking is I can glue it in the middle, put the circle, score it down the middle, put the circle at the 1-inch line, and we can make like a little topper. That can, once it's stapled underneath, you can glue this and make a nice little, put your little ephemera bow on there. Maybe the jingle bells, right? That's where all this stuff comes in handy, right? The little holly, that will look pretty. So any of those things would give you a good idea. Or, like I said, you can, let's stamp this again, punch this again. And then I'll take my 1 3/4 inch circle, and we can layer those. We can stamp a little something on there. I think my Holly Jolly will work. I still have my flowers on here from Wednesday's video. Okay, Holly Jolly in garden green. Actually, maybe red would be better, wouldn't it? Because that's green, so let's have some contrast. Hopefully this is inked up well. This is still one of my old style stamp pads, guys. It just goes to show you, how well these products last. And I inked them up several times. I might need to do some again now. Okay, Holly and Jolly. Glue that down. And like I say, you can just glue that on to cover the staple if you like. Bring in extra ephemera, right? Whatever works for you. You guys know what you can do to decorate. Ooh, that would look nice across the top, wouldn't it? Ooh, very pretty like that. I like that. Okay. Okay, bye Nadine. See you next time. Or of course you have some wreaths already made. You can do that. Well, okay, that's a 2-inch circle as well. Or the little ornaments, whatever works. Okay, or you can also use your small little circle, like your tag hole punches, and we have a 1/8. That might be a little too small. Well, you could use the 1/8. Yeah, you could do that. Or you can punch 1 and just tie a ribbon through there. We can do the 1/8. And, oh, this might be a little thick. Yeah. Okay, you know what? I'll do that on the next one. Will it fit through here? Yeah, I kind of got it. Because remember, this is going through 4 sheets of the designer paper. All right. Let's see if I have energy to push that. No, that might be a little too much to go through the folded. So I would say just do single. And then we can tie the ribbon through there. Okay. And my ribbon is right here. I have real red ribbon. All right, this is especially easy if you want to make the boxes ahead of time and then just fill them up. Put a nice big bow at the top. Or make it, use twine and make it into like an ornament, hang on the tree. Let the recipient look for it. I have a friend who hides the pickle on their tree. Does anybody else do that? I don't know, is that like an Italian thing? It's like a metallic looking pickle, and she hides it on the tree, and the family has to come and search for it. Now, you would think it would be pretty easy, but the tree is green and so is the pickle, and you can get pretty creative in where you hide this ornament. So every year it's a contest to see who's going to be the one to find the pickle. And us friends, we can't wait to hear, okay, who found it this year? So there we go. Isn't that cute? We have a cute little bag that way. Now, I'm going to show you other ways to top them, but first we're going to make a little bit different size. Now, starting with 6 by 6, you can, okay, I would glue that down there. Let me just take a sticky strip and put it on there, just so I don't lose it. Go across the top. If you're starting with 6 by 6, the biggest you can go is a 1 1/4 inch. Okay, so there we go. Cute little gift holder by just flattening the top. So you have your square here and you have it flat at the top over here. All right, now to make it slightly bigger, you can go 1 1/4, because if you do the math, where's my cover? There we go. If you do the math, I was thinking 1 1/2, 1 1/2, and 1 1/2 makes 3, and then double that gives you 6. We say, okay, yeah, I can do 1 1/2 on 4 sides, but then guess what? You're not going to have enough to make the tab to overlap it, right? So you have to go a little bit less than that. So we can actually go to 1 1/4. So I'll show you again how to do that. We'll score it at 1 1/4. Because once you get the concept, you can do any size. Then another 1 1/4 makes it 2 1/2. Okay, you have to do a little math or just visualize it. 2 1/2 to 3 1/2 is another inch, and then add a quarter. We're at 3 1/4. All right, we have 1, 2, 3, and then we'll go to 4 3/4 and add a quarter, brings you to 5. Now we're going to cut an extra 1/2 inch, so it brings us to 5 1/2. Okay, you can leave that to decorate our tags. And now, because it's 1 1/4 on all sides, we need 1 1/4 at the bottom as well. That's to make the square, right? Keep this cutter out of the way and just score. All right, I'm going to burnish those score lines again. So now one thing you have to think about, it's no longer going to be 5 inches tall like the other box. Because if you think about it, remember we had to score up the bottom at 1 1/4, right? So now your box is going to be a little bit shorter. It's going to be 4 3/4. And here's the example. Here's one that I did at 1 inch. Oops, sorry. And here's one that I did at 1 1/4 inch. And you can see that there is a 1/4 inch difference on the top, which makes sense because you needed more for the bottom. Okay, so just again, show you how quickly this can go. We will cut the little rectangle off the 1/2 inch side. We'll miter cut the tab for gluing. And I will figure out which one is going to be my front. Okay, so right here, this one's going to be my front, so I'm not going to miter cut that bottom. I mean, you could if you want. But if you want looking a little neater, then I'd say no. And these don't have to be much, as you can see, just a little sliver. Okay, this one's staying, and this one gets cut. So I'd say the second one in from the tab, if you want to kind of put it into words, that can work. Okay, we're going to make it go the other way, right? So we have one in plaid and we have one in this pretty green. Alrighty, so that's soft seafoam. Put the tear and tape there. Blue glue scissors. Press down the ends and it'll make it easier to pull up the white part. If the glue is coming up as you try to pull it, that means you haven't pressed it down well enough. All right, and then we just fold that over, and then this will lay right on top of it. All good. Open up our box, figure out where our front is, find the seam. Ooh, this one looks so good, it's hard to see it. There it is, there's the seam. So opposite the seam is going to be my front, and there's that part. So I'm just going to flip that up, and I will put my tear and tape on the opposite sides, like the left and right side, and I'll save the front for last. All right, so a little tear and tape there. Like I said, or glue. Fold in one and the other. Just make sure you have it square. You know, if you need to push it down a little bit. I used my Sharpie last time. Don't fold it this time. And we'll put this here. All right, I can put that on my square piece that will go on the top. Or the bottom, let's say, right? It'll be showing. Put that down. And then like that. Let's push it down. Okay. All right. You have a nail ornament that gets hung in the middle to remember that Jesus was born for. Oh, isn't that nice? Oh, thanks for sharing that, Susan. Alrighty. Wow, we have Susie. We have Susan. Wow, we have a lot of people on. Pam, nice to see you. And Sue Wedding. Okay. Well, you know what? I have 3 Susans on my team, and nice to see you guys here. And we have Smiley from Minnesota. Keep smiling, my friend. Hi, Robin. Nice to see you on, too. Very nice. Oh, some people that are not on as frequently are here today. I love it. All right, so another way that you can close this. Now, like I said, this is a little bit bigger now. And you can see the difference in the bottom. Right, so it's 1 1/4 instead of 1. So if you have a bigger gift, you know what fits in here? A glue. Ta-da! It is a little tall, but here's one way that we can close it. You can certainly pinch it, but it's a little tall. You can barely get it closed. That's fine. If you have a crafter in your life, this is fun to do. But here's another way that you can make your closure at the top. You can, I want to find my seam. Here's the back here. All right, so keeping that in the back, you can push in the sides and then it looks kind of like a milk carton, right? And again, you can leave it flat at the top, or you can fold it over if you like. What can I do with my, here we go, my stapler. I'm going to staple that. Now, I know there's nothing in here right now, but again, fill it with whatever. This is just going to be my sample. And I'm stapling it so the rough ends are going to get covered. And like I said, we can cover it with a circle punch, right? We can take 2 punches and sandwich them. Here we go. Or maybe we want to try the 1 3/4 this time. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, this is soft seafoam, but the little dots are garden green. Okay, so we can sandwich that in there like that. It'll look really pretty. Wonder if that bulb would fit on there. Yeah, it's just about the same size, so I don't like the way that looks. But I'm going to use some tear and tape on here, but then I'm going to glue these together. All right, so this way I know it's going to stay on tight. One here. I'm going to put 2 strips here. Let me see where that will come down to. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put one like this. Let me tear it first. Yep. I'll put another one here. Okay, so number one, it covers the ugly part, and it also keeps you safe that you're not going to cut your finger on there. But this is going to be covered in the back anyway, but you don't have to cover it in the back. If you're not covered in the back, that's important. Okay, I'm going to peel those off, just get them ready. So it's going to be like extra glue, because I want the 2 circles to stick together where they overhang the box itself. A little piece of jewelry, some earrings in here. It'll all be good. Okay. So I think that looks good. And I'm going to hold those together for a little bit so that the glue can really have time to adhere to each other. Meanwhile, I am going to cut a hole up here for my ribbon. I'll do this bigger one again. My ribbon is wide. And oh, this is rather thick too. How about that? Hopefully I'll get it. Oh, you know what? I probably should have done one at a time. Oh, there we go. Ta-da! It's hard getting it out. Okay, don't do 2 layers. All right, so there we go. Let's get a ribbon on there. I like the contrast of the red. This time I'm just going to tie a knot. If you're concerned about saving ribbon, that's the way to go. Bows take more ribbon, right? Okay, I think that looks cute. Let's put a little something on there, and let's see, maybe, okay, we can do that. That's why I love having these little things here. And of course, if you were giving it to somebody specific, you needed the name on there, just put your to and from on there. But you know, these are kind of fun also as little party favors, so you don't need a name on there. Okay, so we have the flat, kind of like, you know, those cream cheese holders, those individual cream cheese squeeze things. That's kind of like what that reminds me of there. Or you have sort of the milk carton look. Now, what if you wanted a fatter, much fatter box? Let's do one more. And we need more than a 6x6 piece of paper, right? So let's see what we can do here. Let's use beautiful Traditions of Christmas. I can't get enough of this paper, boy. Sheesh. So, so, so beautiful. All right. Now, one thing that's nice to use is something that has a random print. If you have something that has a definite up and down, you have to make sure to cut your paper in the proper direction. All right, so let me see, how big are these? These are 6. All right, so we need bigger than that. Oh, wouldn't this one make a beautiful box? Do I have more of that? Ooh, yes I do. All right, so let's say we wanted, let's make a really wide one. All right, let's try one that's, I don't know, 2.5 inches wide. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, because you know what? Let's make it 3, because then the tea bags will fit in there. Or Ghirardelli's, if you put them in this way, they're more than 3 inches. If you put them in vertically, they would be a 2.5 size would work well for that too. But let's make a cute little tea bag holder. And let's go 3 inches. All right, I've never made one this big, but the concept should be the same, right? So let's cover the scissors. Those are sharp. Get all 3 away. Fabric, glue, and snips. Okay, so if we want a 3-inch box, we need, no, you can't do 3 inches because we need 4 sides at 3, which brings me to the 12. All right, so let's do the 2.5. Okay, tea bags are flexible, right? You can fit them in there anyway. So 2.5 times 4 would be 10, right? And then we want the 1/2 inch for our tab. So let's see how this is going to turn out. 10 inches. And we're not going to make it quite so tall. We're going to make it shorter. Doesn't have to be start with the 6 inches. We just have to remember to incorporate, if it's 2.5 inches, we need 2.5 inches from the bottom. All right. So I will score it ahead of time just because I'm a visual person. I'm going to score 2.5 inches from the bottom here. Oh, shoot. All right, I started cutting. See, wrong blade. Let me just do it the other way now. 2.5. Just cut that off. 2.5. I wasn't going to make it that tall anyway. All right, score. 2.5. All right. And now let's see how tall I would want my thing to be. If I'm going to put tea bags in there, then my tea bag is exactly 3 inches, this brand anyway, the foil wrapping. So let's go, we want place to close it at the top. We can go to 4 or a little bit more than that. So from the score line, I'm going to think of, let's see, let's be safe and do 4.5. All right. So I'm going to bring my score line to the 4.5, and that will give me plenty of room for my closure, depending on what kind of closure I end up doing. All right, so we're going to cut that. All right, so it's going to be 2.5 square and 4.5 high. You can go higher and have a fancier closure, perhaps. Let's see that. You know, that'll be a nice short little thing. Let's see how that comes out. Now we're going to do our scoring, number 2.5. So let's score. My cutter is out of the way. 2.5. Another 2.5 is 5. Oh, did I do 10? I had to do 10.25. Silly me. Okay. All right. Well, let me start over. I'm so sorry. I forgot to add the quarter. Oh boy. So I'll just have to make a different size box with it. I can cut it down. All right, so for now, I don't have another one of those in here, but you know what? This one is just as pretty, and it is tall enough. All right, here we go. One more time. 10 1/4, folks. 10 inches plus, 10 1/2 plus the half for the tab. So whatever side you want, plus times 4 plus a half. All right, so we said we're going to make it 4 1/2 high plus 1, 2 1/2 tall. Brings me to 7. And you know what? This paper is 8 inches. So you know what? I'm just going to make it a little bit taller. I can always cut it down once I really see how tall I want it. All right, let's try this again. I'm going to score it at 2 1/2. One thing, if I make a mistake, I don't worry about wasting paper because it never is wasted. I will use it for something. Just keep cutting it down, make it into something else. Okay, and then 10 leaves me the 1/2 inch tab. And then we'll score it at 2 1/2 at the bottom. Thanks for tolerating my little goofs here. And then we'll cut. I'm going to find that little square, that little rectangle first. Well, let's burnish it. That might make it easier too. And one thing that's also nice, because it's double-sided designer paper, when they open up their little gift box, you'll have pretty paper on the inside too. Okie-dokie. And then here's the bottom. All right, well, I'm excited to see this. I always try something new in front of you guys. All right, a little tricky to see that score line. But there it is. And I might have cut the tab. Okay, so second one in from the tab is going to be my front, right? So I'll leave that one square. I might have cut the others. This one stays square. Make sure I'm on the line. Maybe be easier to see on the other side. Miter those. You know what? Instead of I'm just going to do this all in one step rather than cut and miter twice. I'm just going to miter twice. All right, who's excited? This is going to look pretty. All right. Okay, tear and tape on here. I'm going to start this roll here. Oh, here it is. All right. I love when you have a method to your madness. Do you know what I mean? Oh, look what I did. I put it on the wrong side. No, I didn't. Yes, I did. All right, you know what? I'm just going to have my tab showing on the outside because I want that pretty paper. Okay, it's such a busy paper that it's hard to see the seam. And just make sure that's in the back. We'll be all good. Shh, don't tell anybody. All right, and let's fold these in. Now, if you could do this with cardstock also, it would make a sturdier box, but because I'm just doing light stuff right now, like the tea bags, this is okay. You could do it with cardstock and then decorate the sides with your designer paper. That would look really pretty as well. I will try to do some of those up and show you. All right, so this is my front. I'll put my tear and tape on the side panels. Oh, get that out of the way. There. And then make sure it's square. Close it up. And then something here. This is going to look so pretty. So you can make a little thing here. Put some tea bags, some little sugar cubes, some chocolates or a couple of cookies, some kisses. Look how pretty. Oh my gosh, that is just gorgeous. And I am fond of the, here's my seam here. I am fond of the milk carton closure like that. So let's just see. I have some tea bags in red and green. They fit in there nicely. Let's put some kisses, Ghirardelli, and there's still plenty of room in there. Just like that. And you know what? I'm going to get my bigger handheld punch. Okay, this is a 1/4-inch punch here. So this is just another way to tie up your bags. I'm going to punch 2 holes, about a 1/2 inch in from each side. And then I'm going to feed my ribbon in one hole, out the next. And then tie it in the front. With my bow. You can mix in gold twine with this and tie it together with a thread bow. That will look really pretty as well. Could anything be more elegant? Look how pretty that is. Oh, just love it. And then I have some gold foil here that you could use. You can cut your tags with if you use your tag die. You can, I mean, the possibilities here are endless, guys, right? Absolutely endless. But what else was I looking for to show you? Well, first of all, I do have a tag here already cut. Just so you can see perspective of size, you can run your ribbon through there and makes a very pretty card like that. Remember I said if we have the from the 6x6 paper, which I buried, we have, what do I do with it? Well, we have the squares that we can put on there. We can, this would look really nice with the cardinal on there, a little to and from, right? Or you can also mount this on gold and fussy cut around it so you have more gold shining on there. I have a lot of ideas. Or if you don't have the tags, try either the branching out can use a small one of that as a tag, or the everyday arches could certainly work as well. So I just thought maybe, let's see what that looks like. I have one in white here, but let's try one in gold before we go. Now white is nice because it really shows up. The tag really shows up nicely. And if we wanted to put a little cardinal on there, I like that because it has some of that crumb cake on there, which reminds me of the golds in there. Okay, or the holly would be beautiful, but I know there's no other green, but maybe it's a nice complement, right? Let's just cut one of these out of the gold foil and see what that looks like, okay, with the arches. We can layer them also. So this one, okay, here's one that would fit nicely. So I'm going to choose one that's the next size, and then we have the double layer. And then we're going to have to scoot because I have some Christmas gifts to start getting ready. All right, let's see if this might be too big. Well, we'll see. That's what we're here for. We're trying out things, right? Okay, I'm going to put that down like that. And if we layer that, that looks really pretty, right? Enough room to write everything. So I am going to finish this up for you, and I'll post it on my Facebook page. Like I said, most likely that cardinal, I just love that on there. Doesn't it look pretty? You like that? All right. So, oh, hi, Monica. Nice to see you. You still on here? I hope so. Nice to see you on today. All right, so I'm going to finish those up for you. But basically, like I said, I wanted to show you the concept of getting the different sizes, because once you have that, like I said, the possibilities are endless. And of course, decorate your tags or your labels however you like. Here's one, a banner that I had before. I mean, that could work. Anything, just look how pretty, just gorgeous. If you have these little ephemera pieces, makes it even easier, especially around the holidays, right? Anything that makes it easy, I'm in for that. So let me bring back what I have here. These cute little tall ones for little stocking stuffers, or cute for placeholders at your table. Right? You put people's names on there, or just keep them nameless and, just random. All right, can you see that there? I don't know what I should put that under a stamp pad. All right, well, you get the idea. There you go. And don't forget non-traditional looks too. The Lights of Aurora make very pretty nighttime wintry look as well, right? So I will fancy these up and show you some more on my Facebook page. And you can also make these not square. You can make them rectangular. You just have to add up your sides, right? And don't forget to add that ½ inch like I did. Okay, so start with your ½ inch, and then let's say you wanted to put some Tic Tacs in something, right? The Tic Tacs are, I would go with a 2-inch box. They are just short of about 1 3/4. So add a little leeway room. So if you went 2 inches, left your ½ inch first, then do 2 inches, and then the thickness is it's about 5/8. So if you went like 7/8, so do 2 inches, 7/8 score it, 2 inches again, and then 7/8 again, and leave your ½ inch like on the big side. Then you just wrap it up like you did here, and that could work as well. So I'm going to be busy whipping up a few more ideas. I'll post them on my Facebook page. So if you're haven't followed me there, please do so. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. Please give me thumbs up. Leave comments. I am very close to 22,000 subscribers on YouTube, and that's really exciting. I'd love to get there by the end of the year. It's not long to go. So, so please subscribe and follow me. I do Whip It Up Wednesdays. I do that's a pre-recorded thing. I do live on Fridays, most Fridays, and I hope to see you again next week. All right. Happy holidays. Keep up your crafting and have time. Make sure you spend time with your family and friends and make it special. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining on. See you next time. Bye.